Ladies and gentlemen, if you are on Twitter, which I think that you really are in for a social nightmare, other than all the political crap that's going on in the world and also in the country, I think there's also a lot of relationship problems going on there. So I think it's an interesting idea to just venture into my IG friends and asking them, what do you think people cheat in a relationship? The same thing I did with last time with cringy TV shows. This time I'm doing it with relationships. So let's just see how it is. So I got around 25 responses, which is a lot. And most of the responses that I got are mostly based on two categories. One, therefore I spoiled it for you. There you can close the video. Bye bye. Thank you for staying with us. Now we're going to be in depth with this video. Since there's only two categories, correction, there's three categories, but in the last one is a miscellaneous category, but the main one will be focusing on these two. We're going to break it down into percentage styles, then we're going to break the percentages into stories, and then we will elaborate each and every one of the answers and see the opinions that I have of each, and then give my own opinions or any studies which I have, which I don't think, because it's 2:30 AM and I don't really care about studies anyway. So let's go. For the fear and insecurity category, we have 30%, 7 respondents. For douchebaggery or greedy we have 11 responses or 46%, and for miscellaneous we have 6 responses and 25%. So from these percentages we can see that the majority of people's reasonings on why people cheat is that for their own doucheness, and it also reflects that in our society as well. So this is a pretty good indicator as for why people cheat. I mean, there's also a bit of fear and insecurity, but we can all agree that a lot of the cheat cases that we all found are probably to satisfy their vices up until to the extent of actually ruining their own relationships or even ruining their own marriages. So let's start with the fear and insecurity categories first. Let's see what people have to say. The Atik Munira here says, seeing in a different view, it's fear that they have. Fear to face reality and responsibility makes them cheat. Well, if you know you're going to have all that responsibility when you're in a relationship or marriage, then why put yourself into that position in the first place? Are you in a relationship just to make yourself a better person? No. I don't think you as a person who wants to fix yourself have to be in a relationship. You have to repair yourself first in order to be the person that people want to be in a relationship with. You cannot and do not expect anyone else to fix you, especially not when in a relationship, because look at it this way. When you're in a relationship, you are forcing yourself to let other people change you. You are letting someone else trying to change you. Isn't that douchebag in your own terms? You're not responsible for being a better person for your partner. That's pretty much up. Nikki says insecurity. Farah says insecurity. I always have this question, why do insecure people go into relationships if they know they're insecure themselves? I mean, probably I can understand societal pressures forces people to get married and be with someone, so I can understand why, because of their insecurity to be alone, and societal pressures are forcing them to be with somebody. I can understand that. Our Asian society pretty much doesn't want people to be alone, to be independent. They still have that old adage that people have to be with someone. You have to bring your own plus one. They could not stand you being independent or you being comfortable by yourself. D.ZVL bro, I think I better look at your profile because I forgot your full name. Sorry bro, apologize. They've got issues that they can't handle. Cheating is their way to distract themselves. Are you serious? Distract them from what? Meaning they are cheating to distract themselves from the main problem that stems from the relationship. Wow. Akif Fazil says they are emotionally unstable and feel lonely and also overthinking. Emotionally unstable. I mean, yeah, I can sense that. Someone who are emotionally unstable would want to have someone to help validate who they are as a person. In the end, it all stems from fear. Pretty much, they are not stable emotionally, individually, so they have other persons to help validate their own emotions. If you are a person who seeks social validation, it makes it even worse if you are in a relationship. Still, Sheila says other people who listens to your problems, companionship, or a best friend. Well, can't you just be a best friend? Or do you want something more intimate? Is that what it is? I mean, do you need someone who is very intimate with you for you to consider themselves as a listener? Companionship, maybe. But I feel that if you have friends who are not listening to your problems, who can't be a companion, then you probably should search for new friends. Oh wait, here she also writes, because their needs are neglected, especially lepas dah ramai anak. Oh, we're going to marriage territory, aren't we? Yeah. I mean, if you are married and your needs aren't fulfilled by your spouse, then it's the fault of the spouse for not actually giving them what they need, isn't it? I think it could be difficult before couples who are getting married to actually openly and being transparent towards each other, what they need from the relationship, what they want in the relationship, especially in our Asian mentality where we get married first, action later. I mean, that would have worked in our parents and grandparents' time, but I think not now, especially with the rise of social media. Pretty damn toxic, I should say. Now we are in the deep hot soup shit. Let's look at the douchebaggery and greed category. What do people have to say about this? Hash Bunny says perangai. Well, if there are douches, then there will always be born douches, aren't they? We'll get back to this later on. It's quite interesting. I have some few interesting things to say. Kikin said for fun. Fuck. Lisasan88 says because for them one is not enough. Oh, okay, bro. This is a bit too much. Man. I have met some people who just cheats for fun, and let's say they aren't very interesting people to begin with. I call them hunter cheaters. Now, these hunter cheaters are basically people who would go for a spouse who has a higher social or political status than them. Let's say, for example, males who would actually go have affairs with politicians or businesswomen just to, you know, as a sense of challenge for them, pretty much. I mean, I don't get it personally, but if that's you, then you are a real stupid dipshit. Anis Hisham said, limited attention span and chasing the fleeting excitement of newness. Well, that pretty much ties in with people who cheat for fun. For me, people who are hunter cheaters are basically insecure themselves. I mean, they could not find anything that can validate their own self. So in order to push them in the social rankings, they would rather cheat with people who are even higher up in the social and political chain. But deep down in their hearts, they know that they're insecure. And people who know them as insecure are actually much better, because they can see through all the bullshit that these people have been spitting out. Farah says cause people are never satisfied. I mean, can you see the domino effect here? Can you see the link that we have established so far in this video? But it involves human emotion though. I mean, when these people cheat, I mean, do they feel guilty of what they do? They're pretty much subhuman, aren't they? Akif Fazil here writes, probably they want more than what they get currently. Don't you cheaters just have enough shit on your hands already, man? Can you just stop? Muhammad Fight writes, buka ayam confession, baca pasal kenapa lelaki baik membosankan, cannot brain tukang confess tu. In IUM confessions, what is this, 2012? IUM confession is basically just a halal version of KRT. Baca pasal kenapa lelaki baik membosankan. Lelaki baik membosankan ke engkau yang perangai campak? Because you are cheating and then you trying to justify that with your own snazzy words and snazzy terms that you have. Holy fuck, man. You know, talking about cheating, I just saw this video on 100 people explain why they cheat, and from that video I can summarize that people cheat. One, karma, because their partner cheated on them before, so they cheat back. Number two, each of the people in the video actually define cheating in a different way. So, like some people would actually define them as when you're touching another person's gender and you have intimate feelings toward that person is considered cheating. Some people don't consider that as cheating other than them having sex. I mean, if your sex is cheating, that's it. But for me personally, when cheaters try to justify their actions by saying, I just cheated. No. There's a million different things that goes on. You got the person's number, you texted them, you met them, hold hands with them, you went to their place, you kissed, you flirted, you get drunk, you take your pants down. There's a million things that is going on. I mean, you can easily break that chain anytime, but you still continue to do it from start to finish. And then you just say, oh, I just cheated. What the fuck is wrong with you? And some people are just shit. Well, that's just facts of life, innit? Hamid Faizal says, never get enough. It's all tight. I don't need to explain anything further. Kak Nuzuni says, because they can. Oh. Haji Iskandar here says, the three dark triads. This question got me thinking so hard in the toilet that I actually googled it. Narcissistic people can be selfish, boastful, arrogant, lacking in empathy, and hypersensitive to criticism. Machiavellianism, which includes duplicity, manipulation, self-interest, and a lack of both emotion and morality. Yeah, these people cheat a lot, I can say. And psychopathy, which include lack of empathy or remorse, antisocial behavior, and being manipulative or volatile. Cold and manipulative people, basically. This miscellaneous category, I have no idea where to put them under. Chloe Young here says because they need a lot of validation from people, seeing that they still got it out there. They are insecure and also they are greedy. The got it part, I think it is for people who are in a serious relationship or are already married. Ummu Aiman here says saja nak test market, like we've discussed before. Depends on the context as well. Divine, work and business, romantic, family and friends, your own self. This is a very deep answer we got here, ladies and gentlemen. What we we are discussing in this video are probably the most common reasons on why people cheat, but there are actually more things that are in the soup of cheating, and probably PTSD, childhood trauma, social expectations and such. I mean, even people who are the most innocent that you know are actually prolific cheaters. Haziq says because they got the code. What a fucking QR code, mate. And Merabari says, buat podcast lah MK, I nak join borak. So, in a ball sack, if you know that you're going to be investing in a relationship or marriage, you have to know yourself a lot before getting into that, so that you actually, at least, you don't bring harm to the other person. Next video, I don't know what is, but probably another IG poll video here as well, because it's quite interesting to see what other people have to say about different topics. Right, see you guys. It's already like 4 AM. I'm gonna take a nap now. But can your chair do this?